So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Amoonguss. Yes, that is not an S. That is an A tier ranking. I think it would have been S if terrestrialization wouldn't have been a thing, but people have just defaulted to, oh, Amoonguss is so busted, it must be an S Pokemon. But every Pokemon can turn into a grass type now. So that weakens Amoonguss. And I think it bumps it down to an A. It's still brilliant. Like, it's still a fantastic support Pokemon. But the fact that so many Pokemon do like to turn into a grass type to make themselves immune to spores and to Rage Powder, it's not as good. It's still great, but it's not busted. And you should use Toadstool instead. But, you know, I'm a little bit biased because I love Toadstool. So, Amoonguss, it can still do exactly what it has done in the previous generations. It can Spore, it can Rage Powder, and then just do what you want otherwise. Like, those are the two big things. Spore is a busted move in VGC, for sure. 100% accurate sleeps is very strong to the fact that people run safety goals to avoid it, and now grass typing just to avoid the spores as well. Rage Powder, and be able to redirect is always very good in VGC to help the rest of your party do whatever they want to do. And then, basically, the offensive move / moves is up for grabs. It should be one of those two. You don't need Giga Drain, you don't need any kind of offense on the Amoonguss, it's supposed to be pure support. Pollen Puff is brilliant because it's able to heal your partner. Like, that's really, really good. That's fantastic support. In Spore, Rage Powder, and then effectively heal Pulse while still being able to do damage is amazing. Clear Smog is somewhat necessary to deal with Dondozo. Obviously, other support and all that stuff, but pretty much Dondozo. To the point that Dondozo are sometimes a Steel type so that they can avoid Clear Smog. Both of them are brilliant. Do you want both? Probably. But otherwise, run Protect over one of them. Because you definitely want Spore, and you definitely want Rage Powder. You can definitely fit Protect onto there, but do you sacrifice Pollen Puff and have amazing healing to help the longevity of your team? Do you sacrifice Clear Smog so that you are weaker to Dondozo? Because Amoonguss won't be able to break through Dondozo as quickly, because you'll be able to Spore it, but it can sub, and that's very common as well. So, yeah, you got to make your choice. Do you have space for Protect? Not Spore Protect, but you know what I mean. Do you have space for Protect? That is a big question when it comes to Amoonguss, because these are still fantastic support moves, even though they're offensive. Because they can still do damage, so Amoonguss can still do its thing. Do you need them? It's up to you for that one. So yeah, Regenerator should be used over Effect Spore. You don't want Effect Spore to get in the way of you going for a Spore, so if they attack you and then they get poisoned as you try to Spore them, that's really bad. Sometimes you can sleep them. You know, that's great. Sometimes you can paralyze them, that's somewhat okay. But if you poison them when you try to Spore them, that's really bad. Go for Regenerator, you get to heal yourself a lot when you are switching out. The item choice is very much open for your favourite one. Rocky Helmet is just an initial suggestion, because that is going to help add up some damage as well on the opponent. Fitting a Rocky Helmet somewhere on your team is also a good idea because of Mouse Hold. Because then Mouse Hold KOs itself in 6 or 7 hits against the Amoonguss. So it can easily survive the Mouse Hold population bomb, because it will have KO'd itself to the Rocky Helmet before you get KO'd to the population bomb. So that's pretty sweet. There are a couple of other very good items as well I will mention. Mental Herb, because Murkrow is a thing and they like to taunt you, so that you can guarantee you get a Spore off. Covert Cloak, so you can't be faked out, and if they try to fake out your Amoonguss to stop the redirection, then that's not going to work. If they try to fake out your Amoonguss to stop a Spore, that's not going to work. If you want some extra healing, go for a Citrus Berry, / a Black Sludge, / a Leftovers, because I recommend the Terra of Water type as your defensive one, because you're only going to Terra defensively here with the Amoonguss. So I don't really recommend Black Sludge on poison types unless you're Terra Poison. Because then if you Terra into a different type that's not poison, Black Sludge starts to damage you instead. So I would recommend Leftovers if you are going with that. I would only run Leftovers on a Protect set, because I don't think that it's fast enough to be able to heal otherwise. If you're running both attacks, then I would definitely run Citrus over Leftovers. If that is the case, then just make sure you have an even number of HP for Super Fang, because that is technically a move in this format. So yeah, make sure you're doing that as well. Also, the Bulk is able to survive a Arcanine Flare Blitz, a max attack Arcanine Flare Blitz. It's able to survive that, and then the rest is just put into Special Bulk. And then, yeah, there's not too much else to say about Amoonguss, I think, because it's going to do exactly what it had done in previous generations. It's going to Spore, it's going to Rage Powder, it's going to be bulky enough to survive a load of things. And is it as good as it was before? Surely not, right? It was still brilliant back in previous formats. It's still going to be very good here, but everything can be a Grass type now. And that really weakens Amoonguss.